time, your gateway to the world. AFR! American Freedom Radio. Give it to them.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and happy Thursday. It's also Halloween. Happy Halloween, Hallows Eve, All Souls Eve, All Saints Eve, maybe Beltane or Samhain, depending on where you are. I just hope you are having a beautiful day. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. We are going to be joined by Thor, also known as Saint Toby-Wan Kenobi. We're going to be discussing his latest video about the oldest soul-trapping game on Earth. How do you capture people's energy and attention? Why is it so easy to divide and conquer most people? What role do religions, belief systems, and any other isms play? And how can you step outside the soul-trapping game? Tobias Lars is a personal awakening coach and the author of Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls. His website is soulcounseling.com. He is also the creator of Course of Awakening.com and Spiritual Travelers. He's got some events coming up here real soon, like in Hawaii, swimming with the dolphins and big, giant, ancient, amazing turtles. So check it out. That's at spiritualtravelers.com. And if you have any questions or comments tonight, please feel free to give us a call at 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. And if you'd like to join us on the text chat, that's over at souljourneysradio.com. Woohoo! Toby, Thor! How you doing today? Are you having as beautiful a day out in Arizona as we are here in the Ozarks?
It's beautiful today. It's been really pretty.
Yeah.
You know?
What a perfect day.
I was just looking at Halloween stuff. You know, where does it come from? And,
did you go trick-or-treating?
No.
Oh, okay.
I usually hide in my house and go, there's nobody home.
Well, our neighborhood is so poor, nobody goes trick-or-treating here anyways. It's just a bunch of hillbillies saying, trick-or-treat, smell my feet. That's all we got here. I mean, of course, we do have bathtubs and refrigerators in the front yard, but, you know.
You're not a redneck until you have at least a bathtub. A toilet qualifies you instantly, but at least a bathtub in the backyard.
Yeah, no, them are fighting words out here. You don't call hillbillies rednecks.
Oh, I'm a big
with their shotgun.
Well, luckily, I'm 1,000 miles away. You're not a hillbilly. Right, anyway. We qualify.
I do now. It's been fun living here.
We've got a clawfoot bathtub in the backyard. It's beautiful. It's probably worth a bunch of money, but...
Nice. I burn my own trash. Woo!
Well, there you go.
Oh, yeah, I eat Woodstock. I'm officially a hillbilly now.
Who's going to survive if, you know, the shit hits the fan? Who's going to survive, right?
Yep, not the Californians and maybe not a lot of the Arizonians, but...
I wouldn't want to be in Manhattan. I'd rather be somewhere quasi out on the land, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're badasses out here, even though they shoot at each other to say hello.
How do you know you're a hillbilly? Because Armageddon makes no difference to you.
Exactly. It's true, though. I swear it actually happened during one of my garden videos. My neighbors, I swear to God, the houses are like 30 feet away. They don't walk 30 feet and like knock on the door. They just shoot their guns, and that means, come here, bitch, come talk to me. I swear to God, it actually happened live on one of my garden videos. So, yeah.
I like this. Just duck the bullets while you're checking your tomatoes.
Well, they don't usually shoot this way because they like my food and they think I'm all right for, a hippie gypsy or whatever they call me.
Yeah.
I made it to sub.
I remember one time. No, I remember years ago. I was talking to one of my spiritual teachers, and I said something about white trash. This was the wrong thing to say to your spiritual teacher, and he looked at me and said, Tobias, you're white trash.
Nice. I guess it's all a matter of perspective, huh?
Just because you think you know stuff, or you read some history, or you got some degrees from one of them there fancy universities, don't mean diddly squat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
really?
That's
yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, degrees don't feed you.
No. So I like when you meet. Anyway, real people are real people, and I tell people that when they feel the guilt about, well, I'm not educated, I go, so? That is mostly 98% programming, If you grow up, outside in your bare feet till you were 7, you're way ahead of the game. You're way ahead of the game. So, yeah. Embrace your inner hillbilly, your inner redneck, and your inner... Right. And since it's All Hallows Eve, your inner natural pagan. Yeah, see, same thing. Same thing.
I'm going to be a hillbilly tonight. Maybe you have some good advice of how we can get hillbillies and rednecks to embrace one another.
Oh, they fight each other?
Well, they just, I didn't know what I was moving into, and, I'm just like, hey, sir, are you a redneck? Man, he smacked me so quick. And then they had their little mafia come over and, educate me on the differences. I don't really get it, but,
there should be
maybe it's a soul trap.
They should hand out a pamphlet early on.
For reals.
How do you spot the differences between a redneck and a hillbilly? Oh, yeah. It's no different than spotting. Well, it's kind of hard. Imagine if you came from another planet and you go, wait, how do I spot the difference between the Jews and the Muslims exactly? How do I do this? They both, and the Christians, wait, they wear long frickin'
and the Protestants. Oh my God.
They wear long frickin' robes. They wear hats. They have hair, weird hair. They cut their hair. They don't cut their hair. They shave their heads. They're not allowed to shave their heads. They can only wear hats on Sundays. They have to wear hats on Sundays. They can never wear hats except on Sundays. How does this exactly work? Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, this is part of the game that we're going to talk about tonight a little bit here, about the way to divide and conquer people, the way to control people through outer ritual, to hook people into believing and fighting each other over minimal differences, me and my innocence. Oh, what's the difference? Hillbilly, redneck. Oh, it's a big difference.
Them are fighting words, man. Stand back, you frickin' redneck.
Consider me an alien going, what's the difference? You're all from Abraham. Wait a minute. Abraham had 2 sons. One of you became the Muslims. One of you became the Jews. The Jews had a kind of a weird offshoot cult called Christianity, and then Christianity divided into 5,000 other cults. And you guys are actually fighting and making mountains out of molehills and distinctions when there is no difference? Really? Really?
How did that really happen, though? If Adam and Eve had 2 sons, who were they banging?
Yeah. Well, they don't want to talk about Lilith. They don't want to talk about the girls they're having on the side. You know how that goes.
Yeah. All right, redneck, let's hear it. We actually do have a topic here tonight.
I love being a redneck. I love being a working man. How about that?
There you go.
Last week I was Shanghai. No, let's not bring that in. I agreed to help build fence at Joy's parents' house. And I've done this before with her dad. He's passed on now, but so he had shown me how to. We're building fence. You got to do the poles. You got to dig fence pole holes. All that stuff, and got to make sure you measure it right, because otherwise you're screwed. You're gonna have to pour cement. It's very embarrassing if you have to pour separate cement holes. Because
you actually know how to use a post hole digger.
Absolutely, man. I would hire out.
Oh. Yeah, this is how you use it. Craigslist and hire the cheapest dude that knows what it is.
I'm just not the navel-gazing freaking avoid the world yogi, though I do get accused of it occasionally. Yeah. Exactly.
You're working for the New World Order.
Absolutely. I'm getting paid. That's why I'm out there digging fence pole holes. And pouring and using 20 bags of 60-pound cement. You know, at the end of the day, you feel a little stiff, you know, and not in a good way.
I love it when you dig my hole. Well, yeah, never mind. I'm sorry. That's next week's show.
Yes. The Department of Irreverence. Wait, I'm having the Department of the Internal Irreverence Service starting to come to our door. Yes, we will be irreverently making no reverential statements and carefully dissecting, disassembling, dissolving all your structures. Be forewarned, death and taxes will become undone. Death and taxes are not real. We will dissolve them if you listen closely.
Yeah, we better get in all our dumb jokes before the spiritual cops come get us.
Exactly. Yes. So it's not been a fun ride on Earth when you have people who really are from the same family, Abel and Cain, or rednecks and hillbillies, I don't care what you say, start turning on each other. You know, it's not a good time. Yeah. It's not a good time on Earth. The last 12,500 years have been mostly destruction, mostly war, mostly survival terror. You know, elites running the show, whether they are Akhenatans who actually try to do some good, but then it got corrupted, whether they are the ET civilizations of Egypt or the Mesopotamian degeneration from that, which Moses was the tail end of when it turned black magic in Egypt. He was a high priest of the Egyptian mysteries, and then you're surprised that the Jewish star is just a flattened version of Thoth's Merkaba, the anti-gravity counter-rotating tetrahedral UFO. Now digest that for a while, folks. I just helped explain, anyway, how, where that came.
Yeah, can you say that again like 3 times fast?
No, you'll just...
I'm a little slow tonight.
Which I'll start channeling Terence McKenna. He was softer about it, though. He was very gentle. He had fairy energy to him. He had very sweet. Even though, of course, he was working for the CIA, for the fear porn specialists, and those who are completely consumed by finding a Illuminati in every bush. And I don't just mean our former chimp president, the vacuous head who couldn't have a thought for himself. I mean literally finding an Illuminati probably when they go to breakfast.
There's an Illuminati sitting at the next table. We got to watch ourselves. We're being bugged. I have been implanted and abducted. I have a permanent implant in my head.
Come on, people.
They're hiding in the bush.
Yes, an Illuminati in every bush. We should do a show like that. And not in a good way. Again, not in a good way.
I think it'd be fun. We'd make it good.
See, if the Illuminati got enough bush, then they wouldn't want to be controlling the whole planet. Oh!
Eat more bush.
Exactly.
Oh, hey, little kids, want some bush? All right, yes.
No.
I didn't get any candy this year.
Halloween, yes, watch out. The police will be by your house.
I got one living across the street.
Folks, please. We are so... At first we're asleep. At first I was alive. Right? Anyway, never mind.
I was petrified.
Exactly. And then you become petrified because there's a Illuminati in every bush. But we have to remember, we're making fun of it here, but we have to remember that the God's source, whatever you want to call it, your own higher self, the intelligence that made your eyeball, the intelligence that makes roses, the intelligence that is beating your heart, the intelligence that is breathing you. You do not breathe yourself. Something there is that does not love a wall, Robert Frost says. Something there is that beats your heart and breathes you. When you're asleep, you're still breathing. There's something that's breathing you. That's some kind of intelligent life force that creates 750 billion red blood cells every day in your body, that regenerates your whole system. That's loving. or at least intelligent, you can trust that. You do not need to fear. The Illuminati, as far as I can tell, they cannot make life force yet. That is why they have to siphon it off of us.
Yeah.
So the life force is stronger than any weapon formed against you. Oh, no, and I'm quoting Jesus again.
Oh, no. You religious nut.
I'm a religious nut. He's a religious. I hate that he brings that Christian stuff in there. God.
I read it once. I read it in a blog.
And then I'll bring
it must be true.
And then I'll bring in Krishna, and then they'll go, oh, he's a evil Satanist, you know. It is sort of like coming to Earth and trying to get the different factions to actually talk to each other is very much like entering a domestic argument. Coming to Earth and trying to go, hey, you know what? If you actually look like one level deeper than your precious belief systems, you truthers, you, or you Buddhists, you, or your sects of Mahayana versus Bayahayana Buddhism, or the Hindu Vishnu followers versus the Shivaites, or obviously the Christian, the Mormons versus whatever, if you guys would just look one level deeper, you would find massive common ground.
And then you'd find out why you'd want to join my team and be a hillbilly.
Yeah.
Because we're the best.
Of course.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifilan brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifilan. There's nothing else like Modifilan. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifilan banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules. No rules. No taboo topics. No taboo topics. No fear of doom. No fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right, welcome back, and thanks for joining us here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. If you would like to join us, our happy little soul family in the text chat, that's you can go to the website, souljourneysradio.com. And if you are trick-or-treating here tonight, you must wear your birthday suit. So now that we got that out of the way, our topic tonight, the oldest soul-trapping game with Tobias Lars. He is the author of Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls, which you can find at his website, soulcounseling.com. And I would like to give a shout out to our friend Megan, who is in the hospital, actually, listening right now. She ended up having to have a surprise emergency surgery last night. So we're all sending you our love and hope you are healing swiftly. So if y'all listeners want to send some love her way, I'm sure it would be greatly appreciated. And thanks for joining us, even while in the hospital. That's pretty frickin' badass. So, all right. So Tobias, are you ready to fight now?
Sure. No, whatever. I don't really. Yeah. We're going to talk about that tonight. I made this video. I call it the oldest soul-trapping game on Earth. Of course, it's not only on Earth. It's, from my understanding, it's in this part of the galaxy. It might even be across the galaxy and across several universes, actually, because those universes are, it's multidimensional. We're starting now to realize. My father, at the end of his life, was starting to play with multiverses, multiple universes, and this works, of course, because we are the consciousness that creates realities. We are pieces of that consciousness, Every human being, by virtue of our energetic system setup, our literal being, of which the body is simply a coalesced part of energy, we have access to multiple universes. This is the multiple dimensions. This is the many mansions, Jesus might say it, or Buddhists might call it the lokas, or the Egyptians, might call it the different worlds. And so we actually create these realities around us. And one way to trap very powerful beings, we are very powerful beings, humans, very powerful. That is why whenever there has been one human being that has woken up or become aware of their eternalness, Jesus might call it eternal life, oneness. Every teacher talks about there is no death. Buddha, Krishna, Ramakrishna, all of them. And once a human being wakes up to that, they become very powerful. They become a threat to any system. And the last remembered history on Earth, since 12,500 BC, actually before that, really the last 5 million years ago, if you read the Akashic records. And again, time is a relative construct. The Earth, Mother Earth doesn't have time zones. She just is. And time is a creation of ours. There's no international date timeline when you fly across the Pacific. All of a sudden, now it's Wednesday. We went from Tuesday to Wednesday instantly. I mean, that's insane if you think about it. But that's how we have set it up. Mother Earth is much more fluid than that. It's daytime, it's light, it's dark. There's eternal time. Eternal time, no time, space. This is what the Aborigines in Australia, I know I'm diverting here a little bit, but the Aborigines in Australia call dream time, this spiraling. When you listen to a didgeridoo, there's this spiraling, better than the spiraling we have in the barrel of a gun, which they came up with so that the musket balls would actually find their target. But the spiraling inside a didgeridoo is the spiral that a hummingbird makes when it whistles its sounds between the dimensions. Mm-hmm. This is eternal time. This is why the native cultures of our Earth don't understand British Greenwich Mean Time. You must be on time for your appointments. Right? This is why we couldn't get them to put on ties and be tied down to time. That's why the Aborigines have such a hard time in Australia, or the native people in America. Fitting into our system is difficult because they operated with natural time. And so when you have a system on Earth that wants to capture or divorce people from their own power to realize how powerful they are. Again, a teacher might say, don't you know you are a god? You have access to all these multiple universes if you only look inside yourself.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, I know, I get that theoretically, but I am busy with my busyness. And I must stress the living bejeebers out of my body so I get cancer or some designer disease when I'm 56. How about I don't know, fibromyalgia? That's good. Then my general hatred of life and my resistance to this system that I know is wrong, but I can't actually speak it, because that would be wrong. I must go along with going to my husband's damn football games that I really hate and pretend to fit in, so I'll get fibromyalgia when I'm 56 and I don't know why.
Yeah. Poor me. It just happened. Just an accident.
I'm being kind of provoking there. I know. I'm not...
We never do that.
Being a little bit harsh with it. But harsh wake-up calls is what nature is giving us anyway. A divorce, cancer, your child committing suicide, your body starting to have massive problems. These are harsh wake-up calls. People are not having a good time on Earth right now. A lot of people are having a very difficult time. And we have been conquered and divided and trapped. Our souls have been trapped in this false reality, this orchestrated false reality And it's actually, a portion of it is heading towards complete cyborgism and transhumanism, of really trapping souls actually in machinery, ghosts in the machine. Thank you, Sting, for trying to warn us, you know. And all seers and artists and teachers have tried to warn us, whether they're writing children's books. Dr. Seuss is the man.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
Mr. Rogers is really helping to get kids some self-esteem and some power before their parents completely destroy them. The Hans Christ, you know, whether it's Hans Christian Andersen writing those children's tales about the emperors has no effing clue, or if it's the Bhagavad Gita with Krishna 3000 BC, every holy scripture, and I would put them on the same level, the Bhagavad Gita and Hans Christian Andersen, are trying to do a runaround, an end around. I can't say the next one because you'll all start writing about it in the text chat. But a runaround. Ooh, God does rounds. Yes, he does. See, now we're off track again. See, the muses just want to play.
Never.
They just want to have a good time. The fairies just want to party. Come on, Tobias, stop teaching all that stuff. Let's just dance. Yes, I understand, children. I like that, too. But yes, we have to. They're like, come on, let's play. Let's play. Let's play. And I'm like, yes, but later. They go, it's Halloween. Come on, relax. Let's play.
Yeah, go play, Tobias.
I know. Get dressed up, play. I know.
So, but it's naked.
Yeah. Especially in Sedona. That'll be on the front page of the newspaper in Sedona tomorrow. Well, if I get 100 of us to do it, we might get away with it. But, yeah. Anyway, so, you know, but there's a lot of pain on the earth. When you have millions of people on antidepressants and, you know, I was reading about Niagara Falls. I was reading this week about, don't freak out people now, about suicide spots around the planet. To feel the darkness in the human soul. Every year, they don't give out the statistics, but multiple people, but they estimate 20 to 40, it might be a lot more, commit suicide in Niagara every year. The Grand Canyon, people drive off, you know, the Golden Gate Bridge, blah, blah, blah. Why? Because there's
fun.
It's a collective, huge sadness for people. You know, we are depressed. We are really hurting. We are disconnected. We feel isolated in our apartments. You know, we are completely apart in our apartments. And this is the modern malaise, you know, if you could call it that. So how has this happened? How have we been trapped? How have we been pitted against each other like poor pit bulls, sweet animals that are goaded into fighting each other? I call it pit bull marriages, pit bull corporatism, pit bull... Come on. You don't think our government is two pit bulls, you know, tormented animals fighting each other? The Republicans and the Democrats, they're just like, it's insane. And it's not their fault. Guess whose fault it is that the government shut down? Not that we really care. It didn't affect me.
Bye. See ya.
Right. Did you hear that?
Oh, what a bummer.
But whose fault is that? It's our fault. It's the people's fault. You're asleep at the wheel. Your own hatred of things and falling for these issues, abortion, no abortion, you know, gay marriage, no gay marriage, marijuana, yay, nay, you know, whatever. You're completely suckered. You are so easily trapped. You know, it's like a boring. Lucifer is... and Satan and all their, you know, the fallen angel are yawning. They're like, this is like shooting fish in a barrel. This is boring at this point. Look at it. America, a country who actually had some light to it 200 and whatever it was, 27 years ago, whenever it was, 30-some years ago. Look, 230 years later, we're like this apathetic, fat bunch of whiners that watch TV all day. And then you think it's their fault, the idiots in Congress and the Senate? No, it's your fault. How much time do you actually spend, you know, communing with the source of God and that your precious Jesus in all your 5 million churches in every town, county, and hamlet in this country that you have? How much of his actual message do you actually listen to? Now I want to just say F you to everybody.
Oh, all of it.
You know? So quit whining. Anyway, it's like shooting fish in a barrel to divide and conquer people. Oh, I'm for the zeitgeist movement. Well, I think they're idiots. Oh, how easy was that? Here you have finally millions of people starting to wake up. That's a great example, the zeitgeist movement, by the way. Here's Peter Joseph trying to help, bring something. He's inspired by the Venusian message of the Jack, or whatever his name is, Fresco. Of course it breaks down. Now they're fighting and no, we don't trust you and blah, blah, blah. Why do we end up fighting each other? This is the question tonight. We want the same thing. The Muslims want the same damn thing as the Jews. They want to know Abraham and Jehovah and Yahweh and Adonai. They want the exact same thing. And they're mortal enemies. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. It's ridiculous how easy it is to program humans. Can I go home, God, please? Am I done yet?
Not till the show's over. Jeez. Slow down.
Okay, can I just go to the bathroom and sneak out the back? No, okay. I'm joking, but I'm not. It's very sad. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of pain. So we're exposing some ways that people have been pitted against each other, whether it's men and women fighting each other, or blacks and whites, or, I don't know, East versus West, or it's insane. The game of seeming opposites. The game of seeming opposites. And how does that happen? When you have a people that you traumatize someone, the Stockholm Syndrome, I was born in Stockholm. I'm here to undo the Stockholm Syndrome. And that was the one, I think, named after some terrorist group, whatever. They took some hostages in Stockholm, and eventually the hostages joined the terrorists. Patricia Hearst did the same thing, right? After a while, you feel sympathy for your abusers. You go over to that side. You're raised in a household that raises you in some nut job.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifilan brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifilan. There's nothing else like Modifilan. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifilan banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Yo, what's up? Check this out. The voice of the revolution. American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
Welcome back to the Salsa Wars here on Soul Journeys Radio. And I don't know what happened to Tobias, but I thought you were on my team, you jerk. I thought my salsa was the best. My salsa is so much better than yours. Are you kidding me? Dude, and you're not with my salsa. You are with the terrorists. Well, I have to tell. No, my friend Peter, man, he created the ultimate salsa. I don't know. I can't take sides. I'm sorry. Down with Peter's salsa. And Joy makes an awesome salsa, I have to say. We're going to get her, too. I'm sorry. I don't want to take sides. I like you. I like your side. You have to pick a side. You have to get involved, or we're going to involve you. Or else I'm a weakling and stupid and not doing my part. Is that real men fight? But I like your salsa, Christie's awesome. I love it. But I have to say, I like Peter's, too. He's not really good enough. Not allowed to like Peter's. Nope, only mine. Oh, man. Mine is only salsa allowed to exist. The great salsa wars, yes, I know. What are we going to do next? Are you going to actually, like, subterfuge bomb his house to make sure he can't make any more salsa? I'll send him some of mine, and it might be laced with something.
Oh, yes. Oh, so I have to choose a side.
You do? Absolutely. Right now. Pick a side. You're either with me or you're with the terrorists.
Help, Mommy. No, please. I love them all. I can't pick one. It's my dingo ate my baby. I can't choose one, Mommy.
Well, okay. I do make like 12 different variations of it.
No, I don't. No,
So I'll protect you. I'll make sure you have all the salsa you want, all different flavors, just as long as I own and control your soul.
I'm retreating to the cave now.
We're gonna get him. All right, this is the last show ever, and all the chatters are gonna beat you up now.
I'm moving to the Himalayas, changing my name. I'm erasing my identity. I'm gonna live in a cave with my little bowl and my water, and that's it. And I'm going to meditate for the next 36 years, and I'll be a silent saint towards the end of my life. It is impossible to be in the world.
I knew you were working for the New Age, New World Order, whatever. Yeah, that too. Just fed.
There's a Freudian slip. New Age, New World Order, whatever. It's all the same.
Oh, yeah. you Republican.
Can't I just be a publican? Didn't Jesus fight the sinners and the publicans? So the Republicans are just reincarnated publicans. I get it now. That makes sense. They're obsessed with money, just like they were at Jesus' time, where he called them the publicans and the sinners. They're the recycled publicans. They're Republicans. Oh, I understand. That makes so much sense.
Okay, that's cute and all, but you got to pick a side, damn it.
I choose not to choose. I love you all. I am the Dalai Lama.
Okay, we're being silly here, but seriously, I mean, there's like this, you have to pick a side to, almost to get along in this world, right? Otherwise, you're guilted or shamed into it or, stalk slandered, whatever, accused of working for the other team because you didn't pick blue or red or, what's up with that?
Amazing, isn't it? This is part of how you trap souls. That if you're not with us, you're against us. This is a fear-mongering, guilt-tripping technique to get you to choose a side in the battle of for or against. It's the easiest. There are 50 shades of gray. There are a million shades of gray in the universe. There's not just, it's either yes or no. It's a binary code. It's either a 0 or a 1. That's the only choice you have. That's not how it is.
Black or white.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the only way.
You can't be a little bit pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not.
That way of saying stuff really traps people. You either like Ford or Chevy. You can't like both. It's Coke or Pepsi. You can't like both. You got to choose a side. You got to be either gay or straight. You cannot be bisexual. It's just wrong. We both hate you. See? It goes to every level. Oh, we're progressive. We're in the gay community. Look how progressive we are, really. But you want them to be like you still. See, it goes everywhere, this game.
Just like me. And my salsa.
Better like my salsa. That's all. I want you to sign in blood right here. I swear and commit that I will only eat Christie's salsa. Yeah.
Hey, that sounds
kind of like a marriage ceremony, doesn't it? I swear and commit I will only eat salsa.
Yeah? Or vanilla ice cream for the rest of my life?
Yes, I promise, till death do us part. See, this is the trapping game. It takes away, you have to make an oath, a blood oath, a commitment. A commitment. Well, I don't want to be committed. Yeah. I have enough voices in my head as it is. I don't actually want to be committed. to the hospital, the mental hospital of divide and conquer. It's like Cher said, you know, a long time ago, when Phil Donahue, that paragon of heart and feeling, anyway, he did good work for what it was at the time, maybe, said, "Don't you believe in the institution of marriage, Cher?" And she said, "Sure. I just don't want to live in an institution." For people who like that, great. But don't push your crap on me.
Yeah.
Isn't that what this country is about? To let us be free?
Yes, the country.
The country. The powerful. We should have a country. It should be like, instead of the St. Louis Arch, we should have a giant country right there.
Yeah, I got a couple in my yard.
Yeah. Those of you who got that, you're liking it. Yeah, I'll be honest. That was funny. You liked that. That was good. The light.
Now sign here.
No, sign
we
here,
make stupid jokes.
These are holy jokes, damn it. If you call them stupid, I can't talk to you anymore.
Jerk.
Divide and conquer people, folks. Demo publicans. You know? Stupid.
Yeah.
It's no better than Coke or Pepsi or my rival high school, beat them, kill them, you know?
Ford and Chevy.
Yeah. Us versus them. If you believe in us versus them, you are caught and divided and conquered.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't mean... See, it gets very tricky here because there are beings that you cannot bring around to love. Okay? There are beings, very few though, that are dedicated to destroying things or to simply being deceptive. They've been called psychopaths lately. It's surfacing. And these beings, you can call them denial spirits, psychopaths, whatever, they will never give you a straight answer. They will never come around in their current form. But the vast, vast majority of humans are good-hearted people. And so it's been very, very few, we call it the 1% lately, that's been able to create this divided and conquered game and play both sides, whether it's the Bush family, you know, actually running money with the Nazis, etc., etc., the Rothschilds funding Lenin and Trotsky, you know, to start the Communist Party, blah, blah, blah. Yes, all that's true. So if you buy into this false debates, the false divisions, you are a divided and conquered, trapped human being.
Yeah.
Now, what
I've been there, done that.
Yeah, me too. You know, and it's like Mark Twain might have said. He said, "God protect us from idealists," meaning crusaders that have an idea of wanting to save the world. Hitler wanted to create a 1,000-year divine kingdom. He was really committed to his idea of bringing goodness and grace and the 1,000-year kingdom of God to the planet. Was it a good approach? Maybe not. So how is that different than when we get some hair up our ass and go, I have to save all the cats, but I don't want to look at myself. I don't want to deal with my... And this is a common example. And again, we're trying to do this with laughter, and my bottom line is compassion. You know, for all of us. There for the grace of God go I when I look at Tom Cruise. Watch Tom Cruise's Scientology video on YouTube, you know. Tom Cruise is incredibly sincere, in my opinion. But that's a little freaky. They're almost like Sieg Heiling LRH's picture there, L. Ron Hubbard, you know. It gets a little bit... They're literally like, doing salutes to him.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also, check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
No rules. No rules. No taboo topics. No taboo topics. No fear of doom. No fear of doom. We are American Freedom Radio. American Freedom Radio.
All right. Welcome back. Top of the second hour here tonight. Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. We are discussing the oldest soul trapping game with Tobias Lars, the author of Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls, which you can find at his website, soulcounseling.com. And he did just put out a fabulous video about this topic, kind of short and sweet for those with, that can hang on for videos that are longer than 2 minutes. Soulcounseling.com is the website, or courseofawakening.com. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to give us a call at 218-339-8525. That's 218-339-8525. If you'd like to join us on the crazy chat, that's over at souljourneysradio.com. And Tobias, we were having fun during the break. Sometimes I wish the break should be on the air.
Yeah, we should do a completely unabashed show somewhere. But we have to you have to be careful with it. I was going to say, I want all my healing done in 30 seconds. If it's longer than the commercial, I can't listen to it. I want all my lifetimes, all my stuff, all the stuff that happened to me as a child, all my trauma, drama, and karma. I want it healed in a 30-second commercial. If you can't do that, you're a charlatan.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's insane, Can you heal me in one session? Yeah. I'm willing to feel my feelings. Yeah. I'll go into my inner body. Yeah. I'll feel some stuff. And then I want it fixed, okay? I want the magic pill of spiritual healing, okay? I want a magic pill, damn it. I don't want to... Yeah. It's going to take longer than a week? Are you kidding me? I don't have time for that.
Yeah, make it easy. Oh, and I'm going to plan it, by the way. It's going to have to go this way and that way. And when I get tired of looking in the mirror because I'm too scared, I'm just going to blame everyone else. Go back to the old soul-trapping game.
That's right. I tried
I love to be owned.
I tried it for 5 minutes, that stupid healing namby-pamby.
Yeah, that didn't work. That was a 17-minute-long video. I mean, what the heck? What a bunch of mumbo-jumbo. Why are you trying to recruit me to your religion?
They wanted me to actually feel some weird feelings or something, and I started to have pictures of my mother and I'm like, no way, give me my drugs, my Coca-Cola.
Yeah, feelings are for sissies.
Yeah, come on, man, give me a weapon. We need to fight about this. Give me someone to fight, please. Come on, anybody.
Most weapons wins.
Yeah, give me come on. Yeah, it's insane, huh?
We do it, though. It's so easy to get caught up in that, though. I mean, you just mentioned, save the puppies or the kitties or, the baby seals or whatever it is. I totally understand it. And look at how I don't watch TV anymore, but I know they used to have all those, starving people in Africa and send us your money or, they totally, pull at your emotions, your heartstrings and get you wrapped up in, causes. They sound great. They sound beautiful, but it's really easy to kind of lose ourselves in it. And then, we end up alienating everybody who's not part of the cause or part of the team.
Yes, and we isolate and separate, and we create the us and them, and we're not being heartless here. We're trying to. It's a difficult subject about inner and outer, and on the video, some people will interpret it that you're just telling people to just do nothing and accept the Illuminati and whoever they are trying to control. You pacifists, you're a weakling,
You're preaching apathy, you jerk.
Exactly. You're just an escapist. You just want to escape from the realities of life, Tobias. The realities are we have to fight. Okay, well, enjoy that reality for a while until you get killed 100 more times and you finally get tired of it. I've done that. I did that. I've been there. So what we're saying here, both. A master like a Jesus or a Babaji or Krishna, these guys, or King Arthur for that matter, these guys are being active in the world. But they are not being hook, line, and sinker. They are not being co-opted. When you fight something too much, you become like it, the Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, you become what you fight.
Yeah. So you have to, the first rule of Fight Club is to not bend over in the shower while the soap is... No, that's not it. The first rule of non-Fight Club is to not get your ego and your trauma, drama, and karma involved. When I did Taekwondo, martial arts, I loved free fighting. This is when they finally let you fight, but without full power, so you don't actually, break each other's jaws and stuff like that.
Usually.
Yeah, unless there's... Exactly.
Yeah.
And there would be moments when you would hit the zone. I loved it. And I must have had other lifetimes of doing it. I know I did. But I would love, because I would free flow beyond the rules. And then the black belt guy who's used to being in charge of everybody, if I would free fight with him and I would actually, kind of get one by him, he would get very angry. Because if he was, still in that mode. And then he would lose his fighting ability. It's the surrendered flow. Don't believe you me, God's source. The Tao ain't no pussy. Quote me on that one. The Tao ain't no pussy. All right? For our hillbilly rednecks, whatever.
Yeah, Tobias might be, but yeah, definitely not the Tao.
Well, no, actually, in my life, I've not been a pussy when it comes down to it, and I'm surprised myself. I'm like, really? Should you have done that, Tobias? Those guys were bikers. I'm like, hey, it worked out fine. We're all good.
Tobias fights bikers.
We do. People think real spiritual people. See, real spiritual people have a lot more power than the physical world.
Yeah.
Jesus could stop the sword arm in midair. I've had that happen around me. I'm thinking of a drunken guy with a baseball bat when I was about 20.
Oh, that was me. Sorry.
So this idea that spirituality is wimpy, this image of Jesus as the emaciated, drained of blood weakling, is completely wrong. Who kicks your ass more, the source or somebody who did all this body martial arts training?
Yeah.
This is
why...
why...
we think it's a sign of strength to, keep fighting, right? Keep fighting, but...
No, but here's my point. This is part of the division. This is part of one of the root causes for the male ego particularly, but women too. They just do it in a different way.
Yeah.
But somehow it's weak. This is what Jesus was trying to show. Turn the other cheek when it's timely, and then there's a time to kick over the tables and tell them to get the F out of my Father's house.
Definitely.
There's a time for both. But if you are personally hooked in during the free fighting form, if you got personally involved and triggered, boxers know it too, martial arts fighters know it too, MMA, if you get overly triggered, you'll basically blow your adrenaline and drain yourself of energy, and you'll lose. Okay?
Yeah.
Even in physical fighting.
Yeah.
Well, in spiritual gamesmanship, if you will, what you can do wizard warrior stuff, mental sparring and warring, but the trump card, now hear this, the trump card is the heart. And it is not weak and wimpy. The fearful ego mind Lucifer has tried to portray Jesus as that in his religionism. But Krishna, Jesus, Babaji, the real masters, Buddha, ain't no wimps. You can't beat them. You can't fight them physically and take them over. You can't do it. because the energy is the trump card. Literally. And that's a big shift. I do not need to fight. The universe fights for me, protects me. You know?
Yeah.
And when and if it comes to actual physical fighting, don't worry. Archangel Michael got a big fist and a big sword. He got no problems cutting people's heads off. I'm being very direct with that. So this whole idea of if you fight of your own power, you will be fighting on your own power and you will drain your power. If you are fighting with the Tao, meaning the universal life force, as your backer, you are not alone. And you cannot be drained or fooled. So this is the difference. I hope some of that's making sense. See, it gets very tricky here. Let me go back to the oldest soul-trapping game. So one way, the example I use in the video, if you can get people to be angry at you, not just angry, there's several ways of doing this. You can traumatize someone, like I said about the circumcision of the young boy. You can put literal energy implants into people. We're being very direct here tonight, like anal rape. I know that's shocking to people, but like you can really hurt people by putting certain energies in, because the life force and the sexual force, I'm giving some, graphic details here, you can destroy or implant certain energies. If you're possessed of certain energies, they are literally like viruses. The Amazonian shamans, the ayahuasca shamans, treat them like a virus. It's an energy virus. This can be put into people with darts, or when you open someone's heart, a dagger in the heart. We say it, right? Your girlfriend turns on you and says, well, yeah, I never liked sex with you, and by the way, I had sex with your brother.
Ouch.
Right?
Even if it's true, don't say that, ladies.
Well, no, there's a right time to say it.
Ouch.
And I never enjoyed your particular type of sex. I faked it the whole time.
Ouch. You can't say that.
Ooh. And then,
That's just mean.
Or the man might say similar things, right?
Or fighting words.
Right. So you can wound each other in the heart. You can wound the young child. You can literally abuse physically people and traumatize them. You can traumatize people emotionally, physically, spiritually. And you can also bait them if they're strong enough that you can't really overpower them. So you feel the difference here. If you overpower a being, you can traumatize them. Just like dogs and cats get traumatized by people that abuse them. Yeah? Well, humans get traumatized too. Now, if the spirit is strong enough, sometimes the spirit is strong enough that you, even no matter what abuse you do to them, they will not lose themselves. They will know. They will still retain their sense of power and individuality. In that case, if you can't overpower them, imagine now the forces of, wanting to divide and conquer, wanting to take over a planet. If you can't overpower them by traumatizing them and using brute might is right, and heart daggers and stabbing people in the back and betrayal, right? That's what causes people to be bitter and join up, right? If you can't fight the evil, you might as well join it, right?
Yeah.
That
I can't beat them, join them. Yeah,
that capitulation of your idealism. Well, I wanted to help the world at one point, but, I might as well go to work for Monsanto. It's $120,000 a year, and, whatever. It's not my fight anyway. I just need to take care of my kids.
Yeah.
You can capitulate that way. Or if you're still strong in fighting, then the devil's or the ego's or Lucifer's, your ego mind's favorite trick is the one I talk about mainly in the video, which is, I'm going to get you to hate me and fight me, because then I can keep entangling with you. See, if I get you to fight me, if I bait you like a bully, I get you, then I can drain your energy. And there's a beautiful scene, I mentioned it in the video too, that illustrates this perfectly. In the old movie Ben-Hur, where Charlton Heston's played Judah Ben-Hur, I like the movie. But at one point he loses all, because he stands up for his truth and he won't join them. He says, now I'm not going to join you, I'm going to call this doesn't feel right to me. You're joining the Roman Empire. And his friend says, well, then you're betraying the state. When they destroy him, they take his money, all his, his wife, and all this stuff. And they make him a slave on a Roman ship. And as the Roman officer in charge comes walking to inspect the ship, he whips Judah Ben Hur across the back with that, whatever they call it, that metal tongue whip that the Romans invented, you know, that horrible lash. And Judah just looks at him and goes, "You can't hurt me, you know, mother effer, I hate you." And the Roman officer looks at him and goes, "Good. Hate me. You'll live longer, and you'll row for me longer."
Wow.
Okay? That's how you trap strong souls. The way you trap strong souls is you get them to engage in the fight. With a dog in the fight. Feel the difference? They want revenge at you MFers, evil people. That's how the ego mind, Luciferian, whatever you want to call that, system wants to drain you. They get you busy fighting them. Cool. We have a relationship now. Thank you. It's a hate relationship, but I don't really care because hate is energy too. So either you overwhelm souls by traumatizing them and you create the sheeple, the scared sheeple, or you get the strong souls to get them to hate you and fight you. Let's fight the Illuminati. Let's go to the Bilderberger meeting with our bullhorns, right? Now, I'm not saying that's not appropriate. It is appropriate at times to expose these things. Absolutely. It needs to be written about, talked about. It's what I do. I'm exposing this right now. What I'm doing, the people will accuse me of, "Tobias, you're not enough of a provocateur and a fighter of the... You haven't joined Anonymous yet, and you don't hate them enough." I go, listen, I'm exposing the deeper game that you're caught in.
Yeah.
I'm doing my part to expose the ultimate Luciferian stuff. We'll call it ego traps that we trap ourselves in. Same thing. I'm exposing the very game itself for those that have ears to hear and are ready to give up the fight and have the courage. I'm going to call you out. All you activists out there, you don't have the balls.
Ouch.
To look at yourself.
True. Very, very true. And you know what? I have to say this. I was, big-time activist. It was totally my life, and it did consume me entirely. And it was an avoidance mechanism for me to not have to look at myself, look in the mirror, find out that...
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
Welcome to the world's meeting place. American.
It's practically narcotics.
Freedom.
Oh, yes. I like very much.
Radio.
You're an American institution.
American Freedom Radio.
Welcome back. I think we're going to change the title of the show tonight to Hookin' with Toby. And ha ha ha! I win. I wasn't able to hook him with the salsa, but when it comes to activists, ouch. What did you say, Tobias? The Tao ain't no pussy, but the activists are? Woo, them are fighting words.
I'm just picking a fight. Remember, we were talking during the break. Remember Mel Gibson in Braveheart? When everyone's lined up on the battlefield and the English have all their giant gear and their weapons, and then Mel Gibson's character, William Wallace's friend, goes, "Where are you going?" Because the Bruce went out there to talk. You know, the Scottish royalty goes out there to talk to the English royalty, this gentleman before the fight. And then Mel decides, you know, his character, William Wallace, says, "I'm going to ride out there and stir some stuff up." And his friend says, "Where are you going?" Says, "I'm going to pick a fight."
Well, you just did that, Toby.
Now watch. Now watch how watch
how much hate mail I get in the next 5 minutes.
A conscious fight is different than an unconscious fight.
Yes.
A conscious fight is different than an unconscious fight. Now feel this. Feel how I diffuse it right now. And I'm not aggrandizing my ego. I'm just getting you to look. All right. When we are apathetic and Cheeto eaters and asleep at the box with our nightly programming, and we are just programmed human beings, that's death. That's apathy. That's slow, dead energy. Is it preferable that you get up in arms and like that old movie where the guy says, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore? I forget the English actor's name at the moment.
Yeah.
Newsroom or something. Whatever.
Something like that. Yeah. Network or something.
Network, right. Yeah. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Awesome. When you're coming out of apathy and death and programming and slugness, Jabba the Hutt slugness, asleep at the wheelness, you need to get pissed and active. You need to become an activist as you're waking up.
Yeah.
Feel it? Because that is energy moving. I'm pissed enough to get off my ass and do something. Anger is beautiful. Anger is awesome. Anger has a magnificent, powerful, essential, critical, crucial role to play. Now, if your anger goes unconscious, you can get caught in the game of being divided and conquered and pitted one against the other. But when you go from apathy, right, that saying of the truth will set you free, but first it will really, really, really piss you off. So the pissed off phase is phase number 2, if you will, in this model we're making up at the moment. All models are made up. That's why they look so horrible. They look like they're wearing Halloween costumes all the time. All models are made up.
Oh, man. Ouch. You're saying Cindy Crawford looks like a...
That's a whole other show, but yes, I am. She's nice, actually, sweet. But anyway, so the first place is apathy, death, programmed slug, human being. You know, yes, I'll send my 18-year-old to war to fight for a war that makes no sense whatsoever, Mr. Kissinger. Of course I'll run the flag up the pole and be a completely programmed moronic patriot. Ooh! Oh! There's patriot, right? But how do you like it? Fighting useless wars for oil. It's a dead energy system anyway. Is there righteous war? Yes, there is. But I would suggest it's not fighting for the Bush family and the pipeline, that the Taliban shut off. Of course not.
Yeah.
But if you're unconscious, you are a sheeple, and you are programmed to do that. So, is it good that we expose the Fed, that we expose the international bankers, the Illuminati, the whole shenanigans? Of course, it's necessary. Do you need to get up in arms? Yes, but not literally, folks. Don't start killing each other willy-nilly, okay? But get angry and pissed off and become active. Yes! Mucho, very importante. Okay? Yeah. Very important. Then, as you start looking deeper, see, this is the same thing in the shamanic world. The shamans become, first, they're just asleep, stupid people. Then they start learning shamanic arts. Oh, there's a whole thing. We do ayahuasca. We see the things, the energy behind the scenes. We become Taoist monks. We become yogis, fakirs. We do these secret arts. We become shaman and medicine men in America. And we start realizing, oh, there's a game of power going on behind the scenes. And then we're involved. We become warriors, not just of the physical, but we become warriors of the mental and the spiritual. Yes? And you're still fighting the battle. But then comes a bigger, the next step, which Jesus stepped into, which Krishna was fully embodying, which King Arthur was trying to do, even though he had the fighters, the knights of the Round Table, and he fought himself. They tried to transcend into what? They go from the King of Spades, for those people who are into the cards, into the what? The King of Hearts. The heart warrior This is why Don Miguel Ruiz, oh my God, I'm telling truth. He goes from being a Toltec warrior, beautiful book, The Four Agreements, absolutely wonderful, but he goes through a personal heart attack to wake his heart up.
Yeah.
And am I maybe wasting my breath? Maybe, but I don't really care. It's part of my healing, really. The heart warrior, see, the true warriors then, the shamans that learn all the throwing darts, doing magic, doing this, you know, stealing energy from each other or fighting those energy stealers, see, like a la Archangel Michael. He's a fighter. He's not Michael Jackson, no. He's not a lover. He's a fighter. Okay?
And he's hot, too.
Yeah. Yeah, he asks no questions. He cuts heads off and asks no questions ever. He does his job, we're done. Liberating some demons from their bodies, it's a daily routine for him. In the etheric and in the physical, by the way. But anyway, so from the fighting warrior, see, Jesus is a step ahead of Archangel Michael because Jesus has gone into the heart. He's gone into the place beyond fighting. It's what Rumi alludes to in that saying that we all love. Out there beyond the game of right and wrong, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Now, every step on the evolution is important. You need to go from your asleep stupidity, your unconscious programming, into activism. You need to get mad as hell and fight. But if you get stuck there, you'll just be stuck in the pendulum swing of the Republicans have the Senate this year, the Democrats have it next time, and it goes back and forth ad nauseum. Communists are in charge, the capitalists are in charge.
But we have to be active. It's the only way we can make change.
Oh, that's true.
Or make things better. Things outside of ourselves instead of looking at ourselves.
But Christie, you went through it yourself. Have compassion.
I did. I totally do.
Yeah, I've been there. I do that. And we can't make people jump their evolutionary path. We're just saying tonight they all have their right time and place. Being very active on the local water board about not fluoride in your water is a godly mission for the planet, in my opinion.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really do. There is, and you may need, personally, Christie, I don't know, but, you know, there's times when we need to retreat from that completely. And you may be in that phase. And was in that phase a long time, and I still am, really. But I spent lifetimes being very active in the world. And if God's source calls on me, or if I feel like it, if it feels right to me, I vote nowadays.
You jerk.
I know. See?
No, I am active. I'm just not playing their games. I'm creating my own game, right? Instead of sitting back and pointing fingers and, you know, blaming and you know, being mad at everybody else, fighting everybody else, I'm actually doing something. You know, I'm not, I mean, this is what cracks me up. The same people that complain about, say, corporations or, you know, Occupy Wall Street or Occupy this or that, they're still feeding them, not only with their energy, but with their dollars. So, you know, and no judgment. I understand. Right. Again, been there, done that. But there is a better way. And, you know, one thing I noticed when, you know, I was involved in all that is that there's nothing ever wrong with us. It's always somebody else that has to change. And, you know, I came to this realization, if you're always looking to be right, and that's where it comes from, people. When you're always looking to be right, something always has to be made wrong.
Yeah.
And it's always outside of us, isn't it? When the truth is, we can fix the outside by fixing ourselves. So, you know, getting back to what Toby said, who is courageous enough to look at themselves first?
Yeah, thank you. Well put. My friend Mark. Yes. So it has its place and time, and with compassion we can look upon the warriors for the right and the good fight. And then when they've done enough, when, you know, there's an evolution for all of us. And Babaji, I don't know, believes in that, but there are beings that are much bigger and stronger than us that don't overtly march in the streets, but let me tell you, what they're doing is preventing World War III on this planet. Okay? Now that's activism. When you have certain energies, you know, the divine management team of planet Earth, they do step in at times to prevent, like the UFOs, the multiple cases that would step in and show the missile sites in the Soviet Russia and in Minot, North Dakota. They would literally shut down the nuclear warhead missiles and hover over these silos, the nuclear missile silos, just to show you guys will never be allowed to fire these off. Now that's a little bit of interference, a little bit against the prime directive of no interference, but that does happen. Now, let me tell you, they are not marching in the streets, but they're very active in helping this planet. And so there are entities without physical bodies that are very, very powerful.
Yes.
So when you try to say, you need to march with us, that's, you know, your current state. But not everyone does it your way. We all are here for different reasons, you know. And Mr. Rogers, reaching millions of kids early on, may have been a much bigger activist. Watch him give testimony in the Senate. There's a courageous man. He may have been much more courageous or done a lot more good for unprogramming our current culture than, you know, people marching against whatever. Yeah. And so we're just saying both are important. I used the image in the video of the bird. The bird needs both wings to fly, or it circles and slowly hits the ground. Yeah, it crashes and burns. But you need the inner and the outer. You need to breathe in and out to be active, to function in the world. So if you're just focusing on outer fighting someone, you're actually feeding them. You're not healing yourself. And there are many in the truth movement that literally, they don't do any inner meditation. They don't do any inner introspection. They get up every morning and just turn on their computer and they just rant and rave and find more conspiratorial material to feed.
I can yell the loudest.
Yeah, to feed their fire, you know.
Yeah.
It all has its place and timing, but you will never enlighten the world by cursing the darkness.
Yeah.
You will never, you know, it's more powerful to light a candle than to curse the darkness. That's a nice saying. You will bring more light to the world by lighting a gentle little candle there. Imagine sitting in your house going, God damn the darkness, and then doing that all night long. Yeah. How's that working for you? Versus, here's a candle, why don't you light that? I know that's simplistic, but feel the truth of it. Feel the truth of it. The reverberation of love, the reverberation of creating bridges between humanity. When Axl Rose embraces Elton John, everyone else is like, oh, he's homophobic. And Elton John, why are you doing that? He's homophobic. Those two guys have the balls, yes, even Elton John has the balls, to stand up and embrace.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
News and information you can trust. This is American Freedom Radio. Freedom, American Freedom Radio. Radio. American. American Freedom Radio.
Last segment, Soul Journeys Radio on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Thank you all for joining us here tonight with Tobias Lars, the oldest soul-trapping game on the planet, or maybe in the universe, or the galaxy, or whatever. I think we should fight over that. How many galaxies are there in the universe, or is it a multiverse, or... Anyway, Tobias, you've been speaking some good truths here. Oh, and by the way, his website again, soulcounseling.com or courseofawakening.com. And what do you want to fight about this segment?
Who is... I don't know, nothing.
Okay, fine. If you want to join my salsa cult, will you join my hummus cult?
Yes, I like hummus.
No, my hummus.
Yes, dear. Of course I will, dear. That's another approach, by the way. You know, you can quickly agree with your enemy's ego or your friend's ego. Quickly agree with their ego and stay out of the fray altogether. Hey, there's a thought. That's kind of Lao Tzu's approach, you know. That's... Feel real masters here now. Feel the level, just imagine for a second the level of where you love the sinner but not the sin. You know, that's some heavy teaching that he's trying to get through to people, Jesus. Where a guru, a true master, a Babaji, ascended beings or awake beings, where you, everyone that comes to you, you can feel their soul and see their soul as this eternal piece of source, God, universe, whatever you want to call it. And then you can see their programming on the surface, and you can see that they need to spend a whole lifetime, you know, fighting something and working that out. And you have compassion for it. You allow the process. Yeah. You may try to offer some thoughts, but if they don't receive it, this is the game of free will. God's source, our own higher selves, is continually, every day, every moment, offering us beautiful, easier ways and really... you know, to come out of the struggle, pain, suffering game. And we continually say, get hooked into other games, you know, and God has to stand by, she has to stand by, he has to stand by and watch the children get lost in these artificial fights. It's like watching your kids sue each other, you know. Yeah. And you have to stand by and let them work it out. And say, I love, and then they come to you and say, oh, you better take my side, Daddy. And you're like, listen, you're all my kids. How can I take sides? When I say that, it really pisses some people off. When I say God doesn't take sides. God's behind everybody. God's for everybody. Source is for everybody.
And that is a tough pill to swallow the first time you hear it. It really is.
Yeah. How can it?
What do you mean? But I'm the right one. I'm the righteous. I'm doing God's work. You know, he said in the Bible or whatever religious text, these people are the enemies.
Yes. I loved how you said it, Christie, that if you insist on being right all the time, or you really have this need to be right, you have to create people being wrong. You need, in order to have rightness, you need wrongness.
Yeah.
And so, really, those who are insisting on being right, you will always create enemies.
Always. Absolutely.
And so
I've been there, done that.
Yeah, and so the oldest game in the world, we'd never really talked about it so expressly, but the oldest soul-trapping game is to get you so angry at something or so traumatized by something that you need to fight against it, or you need to obsess about it, you know. So you trap souls by creating evil. Evil is made up. Mother Nature knows not evil. Mother Nature has no concept of evil, of good and evil. Fungus is just as good as roses. But we, as humans, create the ideas of good and evil, and therefore we can be pitted against each other. It's really just all energy. You know, in the video I talk about it too, that famous speech by FDR, which spells father, right? FDR, father of our country at the time. Again, strong men. What's the difference between him and Mussolini? It's the same thing. You're worshiping some father figure to take care of you.
Yeah.
You could argue that...
I am your father.
I am your father. Exactly. And And when FDR does that famous speech that we still, the vast majority of people still believe in this, because it's such a clever half-truth.
Mm-hmm.
We have nothing to fear but fear itself. And in the meantime, he, of course, is living a lie. Because we needed that. Not his fault, but because we couldn't handle a president being open and honest and saying, look, my legs are paralyzed. I'm in a wheelchair and I have a permanent guy that carries me around.
Mm.
And they prop me up on the back of the train with a cane, and they hold my arms steady on the railing so I can look like I'm actually standing up. Yay, FDR for president! Yay, FDR! Wave your little flag. Right?
Yeah.
And so this we can be seduced. And I'm not blaming him. I'm not making him wrong. That's the right thing at the right time. But it's still not the complete picture because we're living in denial of what's really going on. And it's kind of symbolic that it's the whole lower half of the body that's paralyzed, meaning we do not want to talk about sexuality at all, ever, ever.
Yeah, that's evil.
Yeah. So we blame fear. But there's nothing wrong with fear. Did God make a mistake? Did the universe make a mistake? Did your evolutionary emotional body make a mistake when it made the emotion of fear? Of course not. It has its rightful place. But if you reject a part of yourself, you get trapped in the game of fighting fear. And this shows up in the New Age community as, you must choose either love or fear. You have to choose one or the other, love or fear. You're either with love or for or against love. It's the same stupid argument.
Yeah.
Oprah will say it because that's where we're at collectively. I don't choose either or. It's both and more, as St. Osho said. I love my fear. I respect my fear. It warns me of things. It gives me a feeling in my gut that says there's some BS going on here that I don't want to be involved with. But if you suppress your fear, you won't get that warning. And you'll get caught up in some cult or some fight. And you'll wake up much later realizing, wow, what did I get myself involved in? Because you suppressed a part of yourself.
Yeah.
Embrace all yourself. You want oneness? Everyone yaks about oneness. Oh, we're all one. We're all one. Diksha, oneness. Diksha, oneness. Then include your bleeping fear in your oneness. Real masters do. Real masters do. Jesus is he expresses his fear. Father, Father, please help me. Do I really need to live through this? He's sweating blood in the Garden of Gethsemane. He's not going, yeah, I can take it. I'm macho. Yeah, no problem. He's not some macho moron rushing off to get killed. He's expressing his fear. Now, the guys around him fall asleep and they can't hang with him. But that's normal. You have to forgive that too. You know? The holiest text of all of Hinduism, the Bhagavad Gita, is Krishna, who is heart himself, incarnate, heart God incarnate, telling Arjuna, pick up your sword and go cut their heads off. Yeah. Get your courage up. That needs to happen also. See the difference? The activism of actual cutting their heads off is what happened 3000 BC. Bhagavad Gita, the most peaceful nation on the world. We don't even kill our cows. Their holiest scripture is about cutting heads off your neighbors. Look deeper into this, folks. The answers are there. There's a time for activism, but it's when you're hooked. When you still have suppressed drama, trauma, and karma, you're still going through the ping-pong pendulum game of being hooked. You are not free. As long as you are hooked, you are not free. You have a pimp. As long as you're a hooker, you got a pimp. Now, your pimp is your ego, or it's actually the Illuminati, or whatever it is. If you are hooked into the game, you got pimps running your show.
Tobias, will you be my pimp? I'm hiring.
All right.
Pick a pimp, any pimp. Here's, let's see. I'm worried, Tobias. I just don't want to have sex with the zombies at all. It's not suppression. I was great at it, but people in sex are like feeding me a tiny snack when I'm starving.
I hear that. I totally hear that.
Yeah. I don't want sex with zombies either.
You do not. Why do you need another human body for sex? Sometimes there are periods when you need to go through just having sex with the universe.
Ah, best sex is in your dreams, man. I'm telling you. Yeah.
There's never a shortage of sex.
It's time to get real and heal. MyTrueEssence.net would like to tell you about Modifiland brown seaweed extract. It's composed of an elementally rich seaweed called laminaria. It takes 40 pounds of laminaria to make just 1 pound of Modifiland. There's nothing else like Modifiland. It is the richest in alginate, fucoidin, organic iodine, and lamarian. Alginates are the most effective organic element in nature that enable the body to rid itself of heavy metals, radioactive elements, and toxins. Fucoidin is an extremely effective anti-cancer substance found abundantly in brown seaweed. Organic iodine is the greatest protection for the thyroid offered by nature. Laminarin aids in the prevention and treatment of cardiovascular disease. Go to www.mytrueessence.net and click the Modifiland banner to get started on your path to rich health today. Also check out the Healing Shop for proven essential oils, medicinal teas, and even health coaching. It's time to get real and heal. Go to www.mytrueessence.net.
Get real and heal. Listen to Christie on Soul Journeys Radio.
You're listening to the future of talk. American Freedom Radio. This is American Freedom Radio.